So we are, me and the big fella, we got arrived at the Tree Trunk Gorge Trek, which you can see the sign over here. No worries. And Tree Trunk Gorge Trek. That's what the sign looks like. That's out, Ziglia.
Yeah?
There you go. Say hi, Alex.
Hi, Lala.
That's my big fella. Do you believe he's only 3 years old? He's enormous. Started the trek, and speaking of enormous, I met these German tourists the other day, and they came in and they said, "Don't be silly, non-German. Your child is tiny." So yeah, if you're German and you're watching this, my son is not nearly as big as you would think. Okay, so this is the start of the trek, and it's going to go downhill for a little bit, and we'll see some more things soon. Cool. I'm going to walk in down the Tree Trunk Gorge. Even just coming down the first part, it's pretty easy to see why it's called the Tree Trunk Gorge, is because quite often all the way along here is these massive trees that have just fallen over, and instead of clearing them, they've just come along with a chainsaw and sawn out a hole in the middle and to clear a path. And this is all the way along this Tree Trunk Gorge trek, as you can see, and I might even show you a few more later on, and makes it a really interesting walk. So far we've been walking downhill at the start. I've done this walk before. It's a fairly easy walk. I mean, it's I think if you're not hustling too fast, it's about 40 minutes each way. I think it's not a huge walk, fairly easy. I think most levels of fitness should better handle it. We should be coming up to a stream pretty soon. Depending on the time of year you go will depend on how high the stream is and whether you'll have to wade through it or you can just walk across it. If you go in the height of summer, you should just be able to walk across the stream. If you go in winter, you'll be up over knee high. Cool. I think we're... Oh, look, another tree trunk. We're right down the bottom now. I can hear water. Oh, there we go. Must be right by the river. So now we're down here. We're going to have to find somewhere to cross. So I'm not sure if I explained where we are. If you can't find it on the map, this is in New Zealand. The Tree Trunk Gorge is somewhere between Waiouru, which is in the national park area of Ruapehu, and somewhere between Waiouru and Turangi, which is just before Taupo. And as you can see, our crossing of the river is going to be fairly easy. Last time I came here, this was knee high, and this looks like it's about ankle high to cross over there and up that way. The river is quite narrow and quite shallow. Half of these rocks aren't even covered. It's be an easy one to say, "This way, buddy. We're not going that way." Oh look, I've got a camera as well, taking photos. Good boy. So we're going to cross over here. Let's go, buddy. I might have to shut the camera down and hold my son's hand while we cross over, and we'll take some more a bit further on. We've been walking up this track for a bit, and just poked our head up over the trees here, and if you can see, there's a river down there that we crossed. Oh, Jesus fucking dragonfly. Scared the shit out of me. See if I can zoom up, if you can see the mountain over there. Can you? It's really bright. Oh, there we go, look at that. Maybe you can see it if it's not too much glare on the screen anyway. There's Mount Naraho here. I'll zoom back out. This camera's not the greatest camera in the world. But yeah, so we're going to get back on the track now, and and it's right here, and we've been heading up for a little bit. So when we came on this track it was mostly going down, and then it's kind of headed back up, and this is a track here. It's a little rough, but it's not so bad, and it's still a fairly easy walk even though it's a tiny bit up and down. It's not too bad, and but it is beautiful, and especially when you get little breaks in the trees and get a bit of sunshine, and there's lots of and little forest clearings as well, which every now and again, and of course the tree trunks. So. Another part of the trek here, we've kind of plateaued off a little bit, and I just want to show you this part because we're another few examples of trees being cut down. Here we go, and these ones are only small ones, but there are other examples. There's another one coming up right in front of us. Put it like this. You see it's a beautiful forest canopy on this walk, and quite often around this region, because all the activities are outdoors, but it's got image stabilization anyway, because most of the activities are outdoors. Quite often there's not a lot to do when it's shitty weather. You see these trees have been down for a little while. Look at that, stunning, so quite often this walk's, it's an easy walk and it's not too long, but it's a good one because if it's raining or crappy weather, you know, mostly sheltered. I mean, you might get a little wet, but it's not going to be too bad, and it won't be too cold. And it's also good on a really hot day because you've got quite a little shelter from the sun. And yeah, it is a beautiful walk. There's quite a lot of really nice scenery, lots of great forest, and a little bit of bird chatter. It's quite quiet over here though, compared to other parts in New Zealand. But you do see some nice ones, and you hear some amazing tui sounds every now and again. And if you've never been here and you've never heard a tui, I recommend it because it's one of the most amazing songbirds I've ever heard. I mean, it's got an insane vocal range. It can make quite a few, like more than a handful of very different sounds. It's an unusual bird, great vocal range, you know. And as you can see, my boy's still taking photos, enjoying himself. I mean, even I'm huffing and puffing. It's easy enough for a 3-year-old, so so if he can do it, anyone can do it. Whew. We just finished running a lot because my son loves running, and I just seen this tree going over the track, which is amazing, and they haven't even bothered to cut this one, so we can just walk straight under it, which will be fun. Hopefully there's not too many spiders in there. Whoa, what a creepy looking place. Anyway, beautiful. With sunshine. It's very, very warm. Right, now we got a little bit downhill. No doubt my boy wants to run again. I think near the bottom of this we're going to catch up with another river and walk up with a river to the top near a campground, and that should be just about it. But it's just an amazing place. Young fella's having a lot of fun, taking lots of photos. There he goes, look at his camera. Whee! Show us your camera, buddy. Gonna show us your camera? Oh, look at that. It's a really basic camera, but he loves it. Good boy, buddy. Yeah, Daddy's isn't much better. But he's doing the trick so far. Alright, let's go for a run, buddy. So we're at a part of the river, part of the track where it meets the river again. And I think this part we're going to start heading up. As you can see, he's still full of energy. I have no idea where he gets it because Daddy's a bit pooped. And so yeah, we're going to start walking on the river soon before we get up to the campsite, I think. Another fallen down tree, of which there are many. And as you can see, there's a canopy, lots of forest, sunshine, a couple of clouds. We've seen a couple of clouds come over, and even... What's that? The river! And we've even heard a little bit of thunder, which is interesting. So apparently there may be some thunder tonight. Hopefully we can make it back to the car before we get rained on. But it's still pretty warm, so Even if it rains, I'm sure we'll be alright. Careful of those big rocks, buddy. Alright, as you can see now, we're getting pretty rocky on the path, and neither of us are wearing great shoes, but it's an easy enough walk, so we didn't need the big shoes today, the big boy shoes. Hey buddy?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to be walking on these big stones. These are like river stones, if you can see. I shouldn't say they're like river stones, they actually are river stones. So grammar Nazis, hold yourself. And as you can see, we're coming right up to the river, and we're going to be crisscrossing over it for the rest of the way up. And be prepared to get wet feet. It's only shallow, and the real water is pretty cool, but it's an easy crossings all the way up, and it's not much further to the top, and you'll see a campsite. I'll take a shot of that before we get there. Okay, right near the top, I'm pretty sure this will be another tree to walk through. I'm pretty sure this will be at the top where the campground is, so I'll show you what this looks like when we come into it. And oh, there's a wider path up ahead anyway. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, and oh, there we go, look at this. Tree Trunk Gorge. 1 hour it reckons. Comes the young fella. I think he's finally starting to get worn out. It's a big walk for you, buddy. And if we come up here, I think we should better see the campground. I think this is right at the end of the road. If you drive up here, you can drive up from where we left the car. I'm pretty sure this is the end of the road. And it's just a small campsite. Nothing special. There's a car there. Just places for cars to park, really. And little picnic table, barbecue area, toilets there. Of course, you can, whiz anywhere you want in any of the bushes. So, take a whiz. Yeah. Take a whiz, mate. Yeah. In it. And looks like there's some more picnic tables down there. There's a tent down there. It's nice and quiet. You can see there's a couple of nice looking clouds up there. A couple of dark ones. And so far it's holding off. And we're going to have a little bite to eat and continue on our way. So thanks for coming for the ride, intrepid travellers. We'll see you on our next walk. Say bye bye. Hey, buddy. Say bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. You want to wave? You give me a wave? Say bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. See ya.